Well, good morning, everybody. I know I ain't made a video in a while, so we're gonna do something a little snazzy and different. I'm not gonna deconstruct that cabin that's up the hill. The cabin's like right up there. So I decided to come down by where I got my truck stuck, which is right over here. The four-wheeler down here, I just drove it down. I walked across this creek. Now there's a way I can make it across the creek, easy. And it opens up into this nice flat area. And it's got good hillside where I get logs for my new cabin. Okay? So let's go take a little bit of a walk. Walkie. So, here we go. Maybe drive the four-wheeler all the way down here. Now the road up here is right there. So I'm trying to hide this a little bit. But we can drive the four-wheeler down through here. Nice, easy peasy. You drive it down through here. And I was thinking I could park the four-wheeler like right around in here. I could maybe put a log string around here and make a hide sort of thing. But as we keep coming down around here, there's an old, kind of like a logging road that goes up there. But I'm not going up there. I'm looking down here. Okay, the road's over there. This is all going to be growed up in the summertime. You're not going to be able to see over here at all. But on this downhill slope right here, right in here, before we get down there to them fallen trees and the two big boulders down there, we leave this tree. We'll leave this tree. But right down below this tree, right, I could take this tree too. There's enough of them in between. Now I can take this tree out of the equation and dig back into this hillside here, right? Right in here. Make a half sunk cabin right here. The door would come, it would be on that side over there. So the way to get into it is you'd have to walk down here, make a little path right down here and come into it. So it would be a little bit different, but digging the hillside out would work, because what I can do is the side over here and the side over here. Now this side I'm not worried about anybody seeing because it goes uphill. That side down there, nothing's going to see it unless you're way down there and there's a lot of trees and stuff in the way for there. So it would just be this side I would have to build up. Now I could take a bunch of this dirt out and put it over here and make a berm and just cover it with leaves. Nobody would see this. I mean, I could start it out with roll some big rocks down here and whatnot. I could put my chimney to the back side over here, off to the side instead of in the back. Put it off to the side. You walk around the chimney and go inside. Kind of looking at digging this out. It wouldn't take long to dig it out, probably a week or two. But here we are in March. I'm thinking about starting this thing mid-March, April time frame. So I would have to pull off all the leaves. We just pile them up over there, right? Pile all the leaves I could pile off. So there would just be a big square and I could just start doing this. Now, it would be 4 posts. And then I would lay down my bottom 2 in there, right? And I could do it like everybody else, put a tarp on each side and backfill it to the slope, and then I could just put the tarp up a little bit more, put the dirt there, just lay it over and cut it, right? And just kind of pack it down. And have my berm over here to where nobody can see it. La-di-da. Have the door pointing out that way. Throw some of the dirt out there and make it flat. Now, the road is right there. And you really can't see this in the summertime. And the only way that you can see this little area right in here in the wintertime is from the pump station or up on that road over there. And you got to be kind of coming down to see this area. So it would be nice. Just drive right down to here and stop. And I would just hide my 4-wheeler back in here. There's no way I could get my truck in here. So that's what we're looking at today. Or I can take my 4-wheeler and drive it on down the hill, and then up over, there's a little road thing that's over there. That is where I have one of my tents this last year. I could drive my 4-wheeler down there, build a rock stairway up to it, and there's a road bed up there. Kind of like what I did, yada yada, back over there. It would be a hell of a lot harder to get into it, because if you came off the road, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a line that goes right there. That's that gas line that goes up next to the cabin up there. But that is a slick little hill there, and it drops off pretty good. This one does too, but there's a way that I can kind of skirt the edge of this, and it doesn't drop so bad as it does over here, and drive the 4-wheeler up and down that. Now that's not too bad. The only problem is, if you're really looking, you could probably see the tracks coming in and out of there, and I could park down in the bottom. There's a creek that goes up that way in that draw, and I could park down there. We just come out this way where we walked, come down and around. Now I'll move a couple of them logs, make a little hole, and go on down through there, just skirt these big boulders. So, idea, son. Anyways, that's what I'm looking at. I'm gonna build another cabin this year. So we are going to see about getting this all done, because from the road over there, even if I was to come over here, they wouldn't be able to see me down on the bottom, which is kind of what I'm wanting to do. Is I don't want anybody to see where this cabin is going to be. And if it's up there in the summertime, they're not going to be able to see it. Now I can get across the creek over there, and then I can rig something up in here where if somebody does come down this trail, you can only get down it with a 4-wheeler. I'll put a couple of big logs, I'll drop some trees down in here and cut it to where it's just wide enough for a 4-wheeler to get down in there. So I'm just kind of checking this all out, because there's a little berm right here that would hide tracks real well, and I could just come over here and go straight down the hill and then skirt around. So I'm looking at my little options. I think I'm going to put my cabin up in there. Make it hard for somebody to get across and go up in there. They don't want to do that, especially in the summertime, because this place will be loaded with snakes. just like it is up there. This whole area is loaded with snakes. Unless you got snake boots and stuff on, nobody wants to go over here. So, I think I'm going to put it up over there, up on the road bed. When I had my big tent set up there, I had a big tent set up there, and when I took it down, there was a little ring neck snake up there underneath the tent, which is no biggie. Up here, where I was at, we had the copperheads and we had the rattlesnakes. Now they're everywhere around here, but as you can see, and people leave trash and stuff around here. We'll have to pick all this up. But this is the creek coming down through here. So it's I was thinking about making a trail right across here, but then trying to get up into these boulders ain't working. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk back up here, kind of where I started this video. So we are going to make a very obscure little trail to get back in here. So I'm going to walk around this way by the trees, because that all there is brambles. I don't like brambles. These sticker bushes. Let me get back down in through the trees. Okay, so back around this way. And this is the way that I would take the four-wheelers right in here. Okay, now we are come up here. The big fallen tree is right there, and the cabin's right up there. But this is where that road makes a turn. So coming down, you can just barely see this. Okay? From the road, you can kind of see this. This right over here is where I have my truck stuck. Now, this is where my four-wheeler's at. Now, there's no way I can get up this hill. Bring it around. But, here we go. Go back this way just a little bit. Got to walk a little bit through these brambles. Not bad. I'll walk through this tree. Now, I'll take a portion of this tree out. Drag it out. There's brambles over here. Brambles over there. And we're going to leave that little tree right there. So what we're going to do is we'll take out this little tree. We'll just trim this up and come down by that tree. Where my four-wheeler's at, come down by this tree, and I'll put some rocks down and maybe some dirt down, because the creek runs underneath all this. It comes out down there. But I can, right there, make all the way out to this rock, make it wide enough for a four-wheeler, put some rocks up, and then stack rocks up even with this all the way around, and just drive right over here. Be an easy way to do it. So, I mean, I could bring the four-wheeler over right now, but if I want to come here a lot, something that'll hide the trail is rocks. So, and, you know, there's not going to be a big bunch of dirt moved up here for my turnaround spot. It'll just be like a little trail coming down. And I can move my trail from time to time to where it kind of grows back up, or throw leaves or something across it so nobody can see it, to where they're not coming down here, and they'll try to have to figure out how I got across here. So, but yeah, I think we got an idea. I'll just have to walk the hill down to the bottom, because I know how to get up to the roadbed. And I'll just have to cut in a little stairway over there, which is nothing. It's right by a creek. There's a shit ton of rocks. I just dig out like where a stair would go, throw a couple of rocks in there, go up the next one, dig it out, put a couple of rocks there, and then I could cover everything up with leaves, or kind of just leave it open, because I don't want any copperheads. They would be sunning on the rocks. There's only one bad thing about this. I just have to put some rocks underneath this stuff to where it's not going to move. Other than that, we got the creek comes down and goes up underneath right here and comes back out right there. So this all would be dry unless this portion filled up in a flood. Now the everything's steep up here, which is okay by me, but this doesn't see the water. The water is around this corner. And unless you would know that this little trail is going to be here, nobody would know. Yay! So, anyways, I think this is where we're going to come in at. We're going to make another little trail. And we'll just, if it looks like it's getting run over too much, we'll just throw some leaves on top of it. We'll keep the trail hidden. So, nobody knows I'm coming in and out of here. As for wood to cut down, I have a whole hillside I can cut over here. That hillside is the same way. So if I want to put the cabin around this corner over there, you can see a little bit of this, but you can't see around the corner. I could put it around the corner, or I can put it up on that roadbed. I think the roadbed is going to be my better shot. So the first thing I need to do is I need to work on this. But I'm just scouting for today. I don't want to get into any work today. We're just scouting today. We're just seeing what we can do. Let me look through here, so I'm not going to fall on my ass. Okay, so now basically I am going up the hill right here. I gotta cut this bush out of my way because this little rock right here just looks slick. And I got my four-wheeler. So yeah, I can take it between that rock and that tree and just kind of fill in some rocks and stuff. Just make like a little rockway that goes right through here. And it'll all overgrow with moss and whatnot through the summer. I just walk it across and go down and around and over there. Yeah. And we'll just keep the trail hidden so it doesn't look like nobody's going across. And there's the second pump station. And this is that gas line that goes by the other cabin. But this creek is pretty deep, so you have to come up around the corner and then walk it back in here. Now there's 2 or 3 ways that you can walk it back in here. So, yeah, keep it all hidden. Hidden from view. See, now if I could come off the side of this, if it wasn't so steep, and go up. But this right here is going to be good enough because when I put the rocks and stuff down, with rocks you won't be able to see a trail. People will be like, well, where did he go? How did he get over there? So yeah, keep people out of there. And what I'll do is I can drop a couple of trees, big trees right here, mark it off, and have them sit in there where it's just wide enough for a four-wheeler to go, and you're not going to see it go down. So yeah, we'll just keep leaves and whatnot over it. Nobody will see. So anyways, that's what I got going. I'm just scouting. I'm going to go ahead and put that cabin, the new cabin, up there. So here in a week or so, we're going to have some more editions of this old cabin. We're going to do this up right this time. I'm going to show more of my building. I will probably strip the logs. The logs won't be as big around. We are going to get a crap ton of moss. But where am I going to get that at? All these rocks down here got moss on them. Every damn one of them. So if I come down here and start stripping moss off all these rocks, it's going to be like, I got moss for days. So what I can do is come up here on the four-wheeler, up from the bottom, bring up some trash bags, fill up the trash bags with moss, turn around, take them all the way back down there, and then all I gotta do is carry them up that little hill, up the stairway. So, yeah, we're gonna do it that way. So, we are going to do it. So, anywho's and anyways, this be me. And we need to get this done up right, and we need to show some people what's going on. Cabin builder here. We're going to start on cabin number 2 up here, because that one I had an oopsie and burned a corner, so I ain't no good no more. But we're going to take all the hinges and all the locks and stuff off of it. We're going to pull the doors off, and then anybody want to go in there and play with it, they can, because it's right there. You can barely see it through the woods, but it's right there. And this next cabin gonna be a lot better, lots better. Anyways, we're gonna start getting some stuff done up here now that I know where I want to put the trail in. I'm gonna get a camera this year, and we're gonna start doing some stuff. I got to get a laptop, and we'll do some really cool ass editing and make some really cool videos. And we're gonna try not to make it look like anybody's coming around here. So yeah, we're gonna hide this whole thing from everybody, and nobody's gonna see it up there, because when you're going down that hill, nobody looks over off the side. So, and even if they do in the summertime, even in the wintertime, there's so many trees in the way, you're not gonna see it. So we're gonna get this all built up. This I'm gonna take my time. Not gonna be a 150-day build. This is gonna be a build for a while, months. So, and we're gonna do this up the right way. I'm actually gonna draw out some plans for this, so we're gonna see what it looks like. The chimney's gonna be built better. The floor is gonna be built better. Roof, everything's gonna be built better. So, anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go for right now, because I can do that. I can't do that. So, as you know, kids, see ya.